Hi, I'm Melody McFarlane, Ambassador Diamond. Wanted to talk to you for just a moment about expos and vendor events. I built my business in the early days, mainly going from expo to expo to expo, and doing those expos back then is a lot different than doing them today. And so I wanted to give you a few tips about that. I've learned a lot, and so for what it's worth, this is what I want to talk to you about. One of the things when you do a vendor event, first of all, any of them are good. It doesn't matter what kind of an event it is. If it's, a small, school festival or anything like that, if you can get a booth for $25, $50, whatever it is, well worth doing. You never know if you're going to just meet that one person. And there's a lot of videos. You can actually go on YouTube and just do a search for It Works booth displays. And you'll find a lot of different ideas and things like that on how to do a booth. The main thing is you just want to make sure to, keep it simple and, those things you're just going to, you know, want to have a place for them to wrap. If it's a small little show, you can actually take people into the bathroom and do that. If you're going to be at a show for 2 or 3 days, then you're going to want to have a little wrapping booth, something that somebody can just step back in and wrap with. When you're talking to people about doing the wrap, you want to make sure that they understand that we're not talking about a full body wrap and that they don't have to wait there at the booth. Make sure that they understand that it takes a couple of minutes to put it on and they can go walking around and wear it while they're walking around and shopping. So, make sure they understand that. For me, I have done booths so many different ways, and the way that works the best is if you're going to do this with some of your distributors or some sideline or whatever, no more than 3 or 4 in a booth is actually plenty. Um, if it's a 2 or 3 day event, then you can have multiple people to work the booth, just set up a schedule or whatever. The way we do it, though, is keep we don't just take the drawings. We don't let people just enter a drawing to win without talking to them. So we're very intentional about who we allow to enter a drawing. And so when you're talking with someone, they come into the booth, you're the one that's talking to them. That's your lead. So if you want them to fill out a registration form, then you give that to them, have them fill it out, and then if you want to put it in a jar or whatever, then put your initials on it, make some notes on the back, something that will help jar your memory about that person, and that's your lead. And if you wrap somebody, that's your lead. So I've never liked where you just split the leads with everybody. That ends up being a mistake. And let me tell you why. Because if you are the one that established a relationship with a person and that lead ends up going to somebody else in the booth, they're the one that is following up with them doesn't know this lead of yours. This lead doesn't know them. So it's kind of awkward. Whereas if they were just coming and filling out a form and nobody talked to them, that's something totally different. You can split those leads. But if you talk to them, that's your lead. Another thing that is good for is because whoever's in the booth working, those are the ones that need to get the leads, because I've seen people work a booth, but yet they'll go out and go shopping and still benefit because they split the leads equally. It's just not the way you should do it. It's not fair. So that's one thing that I do. I'm always open to having several winners when you go to follow up. You don't have to have just one winner. If somebody has indicated that they're interested in having a party or interested in learning more about the opportunity, you're going to consider whether or not that might be somebody that would be one of your winners. So, always make sure that you've got, 2 or 3 winners. Um, how many wraps do you need? All right, so say you're going to do a big event and it's 2 or 3 days and it's a women's show, and they're telling you that 25,000 people are going to come through that show. I know the tendency is to think that you're going to need a lot of wraps, but in all actuality, not near as many people wrap today at shows as they used to back in the early days when I was doing it. So, if it's a big multiple day show, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, between all of you, you probably don't need any more than 20 or 25 boxes of wraps. And that's if you're going to sell some to people to take home, or even if you wrap them there at the booth. Again, we used to, it wasn't anything for us to wrap 30 to 50 people a day. And today, doing shows, you might only wrap 5 or 6 in a day. Just depends. I don't know the reason for that. I don't understand why that's different today than it was back then, but it is. Bridal shows. You can actually get some good things out of a bridal show. One of the things you have to make sure is that, a lot of bridal shows are a one afternoon event from like noon to 6, or even from, 1 to 5 or something. Very, very short period of time. They're usually never more than one afternoon. And most of the time they're very expensive. So before you go to spending a great deal of money to invest into a bridal show, you might want to consider doing something like that with some of your downline, to where they're splitting the cost of the booth with you. But even at that, you only need 2 people, maybe 3 at the most, on a one afternoon thing. So 2 is perfect. With the bridal shows, a lot of follow up. Well, with all shows, you're going to have a lot of follow up. If you do a show, you're not there to just sell wraps, you're there to get leads. And so the treasure is in the follow up. And if you're not ready to do the follow up, or you're not willing to, you're going to waste your money on paying for a show. That's where the treasure is. So make sure that you are following up within 24 to 48 hours, 72 hours max after a show. We have good success with just texting people and saying, a blanket statement. Thank you for stopping by the booth. You expressed an interest. We'd like to extend the show special to you. If you'd really like to try the wrap, reply yes, and with a good time to call, or reply no, and I'll take you off my list. So very short, very brief, and that way you can contact everybody. So when you're getting their information, make sure you get their cell phone. Ask them if it's okay if you text them. And then if you sell a wrap there are several videos out there on YouTube on how to wrap. I always send a video. As soon as somebody buys a wrap from me, they're going to take it home. Then I get their email address and their cell phone, and I ask them, is it okay if I text you an instructional video, or do you want me to email it to you? So then that way they're getting the information they need in order to ensure that they get a good result with the wrap. I like to bring, before and after pictures. I like to let people sample the greens. I'll set out some of the skincare. Put your products out there. It's okay. You're going to find people really interested in the greens. They're interested in Fat Fighter, ThermoFit, the facials, and definitely the wraps. So, just keep it fun. Make sure that whoever's working in the booth is high energy. You don't want somebody that doesn't have any personality. You want people that are happy, that are fun to be around, that have enthusiasm, and go there with the expectation that you're going to get some leads to follow up on. If you sell wraps while you're there, that's gravy. If you can get somebody to go ahead and commit right then and there to being a loyal customer or a distributor, you might want to offer some kind of an incentive to lock down the deal. For instance, if you sign up as a loyal customer today, I'm going to give you an extra wrap, or I'm going to give you a facial. Or if you sign up as a distributor today, I'm going to give you a free bottle of Fat Fighter or something, even maybe the facial peel. That's a fantastic new product. So anything that can get them to seal the deal right then and there is going to be good. Um, if you have any other questions, you can let me know. But like I said, keep it simple, follow up, and just have fun. Okay? Thanks for listening.